Sickos Club.
Sickos Club.
Hello, sickos, and welcome back to another episode of The Hard Way with Brett Michelle. You'll notice that Brett Michelle is conspicuous by her absence.
Yeah.
I'm the toast of the coast, Professor Degree. Joining me, the Art Garfunkel of podcasting, the Marty Jannetty of sit down, shut up, and mark out, the Tom Wopat of Sickos Club. Ladies and gentlemen, the John to my Ponch, the Potsy to my Richie Cunningham, I, Blade Daly. Blade, how you doing today?
I don't know who Tom Wopat is, but that is probably not a compliment. And
He's the other Duke of Hazzard.
Oh, okay.
John Schneider was
sense.
the hot one, and then Tom Wopat is the not as hot one.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. I don't like you, and everybody knows that, and you know that.
How did you know who John and Ponch were before you knew who the Dukes of Hazzard were? The fuck?
And you know what? I watched the Dukes of Hazzard as a child. I actually had Dukes of Hazzard bed sheets as a child.
Really? You're a good old boy.
I did. Yeah, I was a good old boy back then. I was a bubba. We don't care for each other, and everybody knows that. Okay, it's not even in news anymore. And Brett Michelle knows it. And Brett was like, even though the show is called The Hard Way with Brett Michelle, you guys are such a fucking mess. And these are her words, not mine, because I would be saying this about you and blaming you for it. But she said, you guys are such a fucking mess that I need you guys to work out your issues. And in doing so, do it via watching AWA Superclash III.
Yes. Probably the peak of pay-per-view in the 80s.
It's the peak of something on pay-per-view. The peak of something.
Well, let's take a little peek at the statistics, shall we? Superclash 3 was, no surprise, the third Superclash professional wrestling event produced by American Wrestling Association. The event was held on December 13th, 1988 at the UIC Pavilion in Chicago, Illinois, which I believe is where Tony Khan went to school. Tony Khan could have possibly been there. I don't think he was, though. It was the only AWA show to be broadcast on pay-per-view.
Yep.
And in addition to the American Wrestling Association, we also had World Class Wrestling Association, which is formerly known as World Class Championship Wrestling, also known as the place where the Von Erichs wrestle the Freebirds.
Right.
Joined by Powerful Women of Wrestling, which is the successor to Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling and the precursor to Women of Wrestling, as well as Memphis-based Championship Wrestling Association, the CWA, which prior to today I would have assumed was the Canadian Wrestling Association. You're based solely on the name. Your announcers are Lee Marshall and the Crippler Ray Stevens. They never call him Ray Stevens. They never call him Ray. They always refer to him by his full name, Crippler Ray Stevens. And a guy named Larry in the background. He did the stuff backstage. And I don't know Larry's last name. If you know it, leave it in the comments. And be as rude as you would like to be. This is the internet, after all.
Yes. Well, Professor Degree, before we start, I think it's important to maybe take a broader view of the industry at this time, and specifically the business of the American Wrestling Association. In business since the early 60s, the American Wrestling Association was started as a counter to the National Wrestling Alliance because Vern Gagne, the owner of the American Wrestling Association, was very frustrated because he basically put it together that they would never make him the champion. And so he said, fuck that. I want to be a champion. He was one of the most widely seen people on national television in the 50s. He had some celebrity to cash in on, and so he created the AWA. He made the current NWA champion the first inaugural AWA champion, Pat O'Connor, and gave him 90 days to defend his belt. He never did, obviously, because he would have had to lose it to Vern. And so Vern then crowned himself the AWA world champion, and that would remain that way for a very long time.
Did he have to win a fake tournament for that, or did he just give it to himself? I don't remember. Was it like a Triple H win?
It could have been a Triple H win. I mean, it might as well have been one way or the other, but
well, yeah,
Vern
I like the pretense of like a Rio de Janeiro tournament, you know?
Yeah, like the Pat Patterson Intercontinental title win. Yeah, I agree with that. And did you know that Buddy Rogers won the WWF World title the same exact way as Pat Patterson? He won a tournament in Rio de Janeiro.
Oh.
And so the Pat Patterson was a redo. It had already been done before.
Right. Because that's to promote. I mean, if you only defend your title in the United States, it's not really a world title. So he had to win it in Rio de Janeiro. It makes sense.
And they also needed a reason to have a world champion who had already been crowned on their first show without ever actually defending the belt or winning the belt. Yes. So the AWA was widely successful throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s. In the early 80s, they were experiencing possibly their best business ever when Hulk Hogan was lighting the territory on fire, brother, and had appeared in Rocky III and had achieved some real notoriety. But Vern Gagne, as he would later claim, wasn't keen to crown the Hulkster the world champion because he wasn't a, good scientific wrestler. I'm not really sure if that's actually true, why he didn't do it. I think he just wanted to milk the fans for every dollar they had before he did it.
Because they did like a fake out with the title, right?
They did a dusty finish, basically, where Hogan beat Nick Bockwinkel, but a referee later determined that Bockwinkel had been thrown over the top rope while a ref was down, and so they reversed the decision, gave it back to Bockwinkel. And then the Hulkster gets an offer from a young whippersnapper, Vince McMahon Jr., Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and departs the AWA under cover of darkness, as do many other people. I was
going to say, he pretty much takes everybody with him. What?
Yes. Well, and people, Mean Gene, for sure, was the voice of the AWA prior to this.
Jesse Ventura was an AWA.
Jesse Ventura, absolutely.
Who's the East-West connection? Who's his...
Adrian Adonis is the other part of that.
He ended up going, right?
Yeah, and Andre stopped appearing in the AWA. He was booked through New York the entire time, but he basically started exclusively appearing for WWF, as it had been rechristened. And many, many, many more stars from the AWA ended up going that way. Maybe the other most notable one is the Brain, Bobby Heenan.
Oh, right on, yeah.
But unlike everybody else, the Brain, Bobby Heenan, was the only one who said, I will not leave until I work all the dates I've already advertised for. Everybody else just got paid more to leave early and with no notice, basically. And so basically this creates a crisis in the wrestling industry because Vince McMahon is going national and not respecting the old territory system that everybody had previously agreed to. So they started to band together the territories to try and preserve, to try and create a fighting force to take on the WWF. And whereas WWF presented their first WrestleMania in 1985, the AWA presented their first Superclash in 1985. And on the backs of really exciting young tag team, the Road Warriors, who for a while wrestled exclusively for the AWA. They were drawing huge houses still, and the first Superclash in Chicago drew 20,347 people. The second Superclash in 1987, so about a year and a half later, in San Francisco, this is not in the primary territory of the AWA, drew 2,800. So already a huge dip in business. The Road Warriors, I don't believe, are working for the AWA anymore. And they are trying to survive off the excitement generated by people like the Midnight Rockers. Then, by the time we get to Superclash III, this is once again in Chicago, as you already pointed out, Professor Degree. The attendance for this show, main evented by Jerry the King Lawler facing Kerry Von Erich, the modern day warrior, drew a staggering attendance, and not in a good way, 1,672 people.
Yeah.
With a total buys of 45,000 estimated.
Or to put it in television terms, if you're watching this, they didn't just black out the upper echelons. They pretty much blacked out everything up to and including the front row.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody fucking there.
So what I don't understand is why they had anybody on any side of the ring that wasn't the hard cam.
Right.
Like maybe the front row, but if you had emptied everybody out of the front row or behind the front row on the other sides that weren't hard cam,
it would
you
have
might have been able to at least fill up the hard cam side.
Right.
But there are just an abundance of empty seats that you can clearly see throughout this show. So the AWA is really struggling, and this show was put together to merge the world titles of the Continental Wrestling Association, which is the Memphis organization, and World Class Championship Wrestling, and the AWA world title. They're going to merge those to create a super group to then, take on the WWF, because that's their last best hope.
Yeah. And why did WCCW change their name?
They changed it because the ownership changed. I think that some smaller stakeholders in World Class sold, and then I believe Fritz wanted to sell. I think he wanted to get out, and the Von Erich boys were pegged as they were going to run it, but they didn't really have the aptitude for it, and I don't think they were really sure if they wanted to. And so it was decided then that they would merge, and kind of World Class's stake would be bought out by Jerry Jarrett and Vern Gagne, and World Class would just be no more.
I see.
And it would become part of this, this conglomerate that was forming.
Right.
And so the present AWA world champion at this time was Jerry the King Lawler. The present World Class champion was Kerry Von Erich, the modern day Warrior. They were going to fight to merge those two titles, because Lawler had also been the Continental champion in Memphis. Okay. I believe he's like a 37-time champion, because they would hotshot the belt all over the place.
But 16 years in the business, he's never held the world title until now. And it's that AWA belt that just has words on the front. It's not a picture of the world. There's not a lion or any type. It's just the words "World Heavyweight Champion."
Yes, and it's a very large belt.
I like that design.
I like it too.
Kind of like that belt, even with just the words on it.
Yeah, no, it's a cool looking belt. It does look prestigious, and it's called. It's a very particular type of belt, and it's called the policeman's something.
Well, wasn't one of their belts made by like inmates at a prison, like stamping out?
Yeah, that could have been this one.
I don't know if it's this one or not, but
yeah, no, that actually makes sense.
When you said the policeman thing, it made me think that.
Yeah, no, that's actually like a really great observation, and I'm trying to see what it was actually referred to. No problem. It's going to take too much time, so fuck that.
While you're taking that time, I'll talk about the belt that Kerry Von Erich held, which was a really fucking cool design, but it looks like one of those belts. You get a replica belt and it costs like anywhere from $500 to like $1,000, but you can also get replica belts that are only $100, and it just looks like somebody kind of took a wood burning thing and like carved into it. That's what his belt looks like. Super cheap, super cool design, but it looks like very cheap and junky. My opinion.
Yes. No, I agree with you. It was referred to as the inmate belt or the prison belt, the AWA title, due to its distinctive design and the rumor or possibly fact that it was made in a prison.
The shape of it reminds me of like the IWGP belt that I like. Like,
yes.
Where it's got like that kind of, I don't know. It is a cool looking belt.
It's a cool looking belt. It's a very cool looking belt. Held by a lot of legends too. Held by Nick Bockwinkel, held by Vern Gagne, held by Jumbo Saruda, held by Otto Vons for some reason for like 9 days, held by Stan Hansen, held by Rick Martel, held by
Stan Hansen. Didn't he run it over with a car at some point because
he did?
He didn't want to give it back. AWA seems to have a lot of problem with people leaving without giving any notice.
Superclash II was headlined by Stan Hansen versus Rick Martel, which ended in a double disqualification. That wasn't the actual title change. They did that on television for free. And Rick Martel submitted to a Boston Crab. And then later, when Vern asked Stan Hansen to drop the title, he said no, because he wouldn't drop the title on TV because of his allegiance to Baba in All Japan. And him losing on TV in America would be bad for the box office in Japan.
Right.
So he flatly refused. They stripped him of the title. He ran it over with a truck and mailed it back.
Fuck yeah, Stan Hansen.
Fuck yeah, pro wrestling. So that's a very long windup, but that's basically where things are at. The wrestling, if you're not the WWF at this time and you're not Jim Crockett Promotions, which I believe was very soon to be, this is in December of 88. It already had been acquired by Turner Broadcasting. Wow. So Crockett is now WCW. Mm-hmm. And if you're not one of those two organizations, you're in deep shit.
Right.
And this is an act of desperation, this show, and it turned out terribly on many different fronts.
It feels very desperate.
Yes.
Shall we get into the matches?
Yes.
So what?
Go. Mm-hmm. Well, so the show starts off with, a very WWF-esque presentation for that time. I mean, it really didn't look different than a WWF pay-per-view up to about 1987, perhaps. No. And, Lee Marshall does point out that this is the most significant wrestling event in the history of the industry. And I believed him.
Well, it's 3 or 4 different promotions coming together. It's like the AEW of its time. It's the forbidden door of its day.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought so. When I was watching it, to me at that point, I was buying wrestling magazines, and it felt like I was watching a wrestling magazine. It was a bunch of people that I knew from grainy photos on a grainy TV. A bunch of styles of wrestling that are not WWF style at the time.
Bill Goldberg.
So that was kind of like, that was a cool aspect of it. Like I actually enjoyed this show for as terrible as it is. When people talk about so bad it's good, this is a perfect example of that. Where, I was smiling the whole time. Sometimes I was laughing with it. Mostly I was laughing at it.
Yeah. Well, and I actually think the undercard, as far as like a quality show, is more fun than the main events. But I would also say, there's these shows like Stranger Things, and I have nothing against these shows, but the way they portray the 80s to me feels very not true. Like it's very idealized. And watch this if you want to see what the 80s were like. Just a lot of corny, weird shit.
I tell my kids that a lot. If you want to really see what an era is like, watch the wrestling of the day.
Right. There you go. And this really does catch a vibe of what a lot of the 80s was like in its good and bad parts. The talented people are inarguably talented. Many of the finishes are stupid as fuck. And we'll get into that right now. So they welcome us to the show. Lee Marshall, who you may remember from Monday Nitro, WCW later on. Lee has a glorious, and I mean glorious, mullet.
Yeah.
That he also has. Everybody's dressed in a tuxedo that is going to be reviewing the show. So when they're backstage, it doesn't look bad. And then they cut to the arena and you immediately go, oh, they're in trouble.
It looks bad. And it sounds bad because
it sounds real bad.
As you said, they are not plugged into the board, or is that the correct term?
They don't have a board mix going to the feed. Yeah.
Sounds fucking horrible. At no point can you ever understand. Like when they interview people, you just get up and walk away because you can't tell what they're saying. The first match, speaking of if you want to see what the 80s are like, you have Cactus Jack teaming with the Guerrero brothers. We have Hector, Mondo.
Well, he's teaming with the Rock and Roll RPMs.
He's teaming with the Rock and Roll RPMs versus the Guerrero brothers.
Right.
Sorry, my notes are fucked up. And the Rock and Roll RPMs, if it starts with the Rock and Roll Express and it trickles down to the Midnight Rockers and it trickles down to, I don't know, there's probably somewhere in between, the Rock and Roll RPMs are the very bottom of that barrel.
Yep.
If you want to know who the Outrunners are based on, these guys look like they're 50 fucking years old and they're playing cool young rock and roll dudes.
Yes.
The youngest men alive.
Yeah. And so the Rock and Roll RPMs are Mike Davis and Tommy Lane. I have no fucking clue who Tommy Lane is, but Mike Davis was in Global Championship Wrestling in the 90s. And he played a crazy person who thought that he was an alien from another planet, I believe. And that's what I remember him from. He is no longer with us, so R.I.P. Mike Davis. But they faced the Guerrero brothers, and I did find this a little interesting because not only is Hector Guerrero and Mondo Guerrero, who are the brothers of Eddie Guerrero, working this match. Chavo Guerrero, who was Chavo Classic later on, much later on.
Yeah.
And the father of Chavo Guerrero Jr. Is in this match and looks great. Physically looks
the
great.
Guerreros look fucking good. Cactus Jack actually looks, I mean, he's a young Cactus Jack. He is a young Cactus Jack.
This is a very different presentation of Cactus Jack as well. So he looks like Mick Foley. They call him Cactus Jack Foley at one point on the broadcast. And he is not the hurt me, I don't care guy. He is a very territory heel, like, hey, get away from me, don't grab me. Like he's just acting like a very typical heel of that
How long
era.
in the business is he at this point?
2 years.
Wow.
He's been in the business 2 years.
It's hard for me to wrap my head around Cactus Jack in 1988. It just existing in the business at all.
Yeah. Well, and what's wild is he's in WCW at the end of 89. So about a year from here, he is the Bang Bang,
by that point. Okay.
Cactus Jack, who's getting back body dropped over the barrier into the crowd, guy doing the elbow drop off the apron to the outside. He's doing all that by then, but he is not doing that shit here.
No, he takes one backdrop on the exposed concrete, and I was like, "Ooh, that's Cactus Jack," and it looked like it fucking hurt because he's like a lot lighter too. So it's like, God, dude, you don't have anything to absorb that impact.
Yeah,
like, it looked.
Yeah, he doesn't have the pillow thighs and shit that he has later. But it's nothing fancy. No. The match is fun. I think the Guerreros are actually a lot of fun to watch.
The Guerreros are always cool to see. And like Hector's drop kicks connect every fucking time. They
look really good.
Yeah, he hits you. They win in about 9 minutes. I don't know if there's anything else left to really say about that.
They win they win. And cool that they win with a standing moonsault. Chavo Guerrero hits a standing moonsault on Tommy Lane from the top rope and pins him.
That's pretty cool.
You didn't see moonsaults back then.
Moonsaults in 88, yeah.
No, and it is believed that, the Guerreros really did innovate a lot of moves. And it's believed that, I believe it's Hector, is credited with inventing the Hurricane Rana as well. So, these guys were innovative guys. The Guerrero family is famous for, Eddie is by far the most famous of them internationally, but they are a very, very celebrated family, and there's a reason for that. They were innovators for sure.
Yeah, the Guerreros are, we've got Harts, we've got Von Erichs, they're the same thing, Yeah. I don't think they get the credit as much in America as they should. But, and which one of them was who was the gobbledygooker?
That's Hector. Hector is the gobbledygook.
The highlight. And isn't he like Lasertron later on also?
Yes, he is. He is Lasertron
You're getting all kinds of, so remember, if you're listening, remember all these trivia. We're going to do a Jeopardy episode in a week or two, and maybe you can win.
Maybe you could fucking learn something from your fucking elders.
We go backstage with the POWW World Champion, Nina, who is Ivory, which was cool.
Yes.
And at this point, they start talking about the lingerie street fight.
I had mentioned, Degree.
Yeah.
If you don't mind. I had mentioned that Vern Gagne didn't crown Hulk Hogan the AWA World Champion because he wasn't a good scientific wrestler.
Right.
And now we're having lingerie battle royals with the POW women. That's which I believe was Powerful Women of Wrestling.
Right, which should be POW.
Right, or PWU.
But yeah. But no, how do you fuck up what is it called? Alliteration, is that the word?
Yeah.
When you make it initials? You couldn't come up with anything else that would have fit? Acronym, thank you.
Yeah.
So they start plugging this fucking battle royal, and every time they go backstage, in between every match, they never talk about the matches. They only talk about this battle royal because they really want you to know that it's going to be crazy. It's going to be extreme. It's going to be wild.
Until the battle royal happens, the only backstage segments are with people competing in the lingerie battle royal.
Yeah.
This Larry fellow is really trying to balance out what he should be thinking and feeling at this time, because he's clearly like got old man wood. But he is interviewing Nina, who had previously already wrestled for Glow.
Mm-hmm.
And after POW, she kind of disappears for almost 10 years and then shows up in the WWE as Ivory.
Yeah.
So she's in her late 60s now. Like, I mean, she had been wrestling for quite a while by the time
and she looks
she was in
exactly
WWE.
the same.
Yeah. No, when I saw her, I knew immediately who it was.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fucking Ivory. That's crazy.
Yeah, she's probably a vampire because she did not age for 10 years
right
in between then and...
Yeah, and she's the POW champion as well. She's
right, but there's no belt.
There's no belt.
There's no wrestling either because we'll get to that later. Next match, the WCCW Light Heavyweight Championship. Jeff Jarrett versus Eric Embry.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this one?
I'm going to say something really strange.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best actual match on the card.
I'm going to say something even stranger. I agree with you, Blade.
Oh, my God. Wow. These two... So Eric Embry does not look like a light heavyweight. Let's be clear about that. He has a beer belly. He has a big old beer gut. He's a Southern wrestling heel.
Mm-hmm. He looks like a dollar store Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, he looks like a dollar store Ted DiBiase hair-wise.
Yeah, beard and everything.
Jeff Jarrett looks like a fucking beanpole. He had just graduated like a year or two before from being a referee.
Yeah,
in Memphis.
Silky hair. It looks like when you pull off the top of like a cob of corn. You know that hair that's on corn.
Yeah,
if you could make a wig out of that, that's what Jeff Jarrett's hair looks like. He's a kid.
Yeah, he's a baby. And this is what Jeff Jarrett looked like when I started seeing him in PWI when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. I started watching wrestling about a year after this show. And Jeff Jarrett is the current WCWA. It's not WCCW anymore. So it's WCWA. Just want us to be very accurate here.
Yeah, we need to know that.
Very important to be accurate. But he is the champion. They wrestle, and this match is only 4 minutes and 13 seconds long.
Right. And is that... So, okay, first of all, a buddy of mine refers to this, the type of wrestling we see here, which it is good, by the way. He refers to it as Southern Technical. It is technical wrestling. It is Zack Sabre Jr. It is Dean Malenko. It is holds, transitions. Mm-hmm. If clowns did them. And I mean that with the utmost respect. It is the most exaggerated, campy, goofy, but totally realistic looking. How you can combine realism and fucking just abject comedy, but they managed to do it, and it's unbelievable. And I love this stuff. I thought it was really cool.
I love the Southern technical term. I think that's so good because yes, it's like cartoonish amateur wrestling almost. It's not
as far, like when we watch Harley Race, we always call it Humpty Dumpty wrestling. Because there's always this kind of like seesaw, like they look like weebles, you know?
Yes.
It's not quite Humpty Dumpty style, but it's definitely related.
When you see Harley sell, you know exactly what you're talking about because he looks like Humpty Dumpty. Like, is he going to topple over now? Or, and also they look like two like dudes getting into a bar fight. Usually and that's where Eric Embry comes from. He's from that bar fight, beer gut, you know, Southern wrestling thing. These guys are both baby faces, and you kind of understand why because the crowd kind of hates and likes them both. This is in Chicago. These guys are from Memphis.
Right.
They shouldn't like these guys, but they're way harder on Jeff Jarrett than they are on Eric Embry.
Which makes sense because you want to hate him.
Right.
Jeff Jarrett you just want to slap
he's
that
a pretty
dude.
boy. He's a skinny pretty boy. Why the fuck are you here? Get out of here.
Yeah.
Right. He does look like a silly goose. So, Eric Embry manages to accidentally kind of hurt Jeff's shoulder. And you had asked me, did I think that was a shoot?
Right.
that his shoulder got hurt. And I don't think it was. I think this was the plan for this match. This is kind of what they did back in the day. Eric and Jeff, what I will say for the Southern technical part is they worked really hard. And they moved really quickly.
For 3 minutes, it was great.
Yeah, and Embry moves really fast for a guy with his build and stuff who doesn't look athletic at all. But due to the shoulder injury, and what I thought was really cool and interesting about this was they would never do this now, is, it's very clear that Jarrett's shoulder is injured, and Embry shows him no quarter whatsoever. He just starts working it. Like, he's just like, well, yep, okay, I'm going to beat the shit out of your shoulder. And Embry pins him. I mean, there's just no way
quickly after that.
Yeah, it's it would feel anticlimactic by today's standards, but lots of matches went like this back then.
That's what I thought, though, because I'm like, okay, Jarrett goes out, there's no mat outside, he comes back in, and he's really holding his shoulder, and he beats him, like, Embry wins it, like, within a couple minutes after that.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, maybe something got fucked up. Maybe that wasn't supposed to happen that way, because this is the best match on the card. And it's like, I wanted more of that match.
Well, there's like actual action in this match, but it's only the second match on the show. And these were, kind of the territorial supercard structure of a show was like, kind of in a way like AEW will emulate it to the degree that most of the matches are title matches of some kind or another.
Oh yeah, pretty much everything on this card was.
Yeah, almost everything's a title match or at least features a champion of some kind. And so with this match, what they would do, the very insignificant titles kind of seemingly like the WCWA title, like when Embry wins, he's interviewed after the match. Almost every winner is interviewed at ringside.
You don't even see the belt. He barely even holds it up.
He barely even holds it up, but he says, I'm the longest reigning champion. I'm the person who's held this belt the most.
4 times.
And 4 times. I think this belt was active for like 2 years. Like it was not a meaningful title in world class. But Eric Embry says, I feel terrible for Jeff, and he never breaks being a babyface at any point. He's not teasing a heel turn by attacking the shoulder, right? It's just accepted that, hey, the shoulder's hurt, you work it, Like, I kind of like it.
I got throughout this whole show was, and possibly to the detriment of the company, is I felt like everything was done to be real. A lot of the battle royal is a different thing, but like, there's not a lot that's played for drama. There's not a lot where you're just like, oh, it's the big moment. It's like, no, this is real. This is how wrestling would be if it were real. And I think that kind of is probably what I'm guessing kind of hurt the AWA at some point.
I think it hurt all of the wrestling organizations because I think you had people like Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat, and you had those guys had a real understanding of the drama. And they were able to put that in without being too cartoonish. Ric Flair, obviously has a ton of cartoonish spots.
Yeah.
The Flair flop and he's going to do the thing in the turnbuckle where he flips over and tries
He's
to.
almost Southern technical, but not.
Right.
He's more showy.
And I know, when he was in WWF in the early 90s, Vince really tried to beat that out of him. Is like, you're being a Southern wrestling heel right now. I don't want you to be that. So it's why Ric Flair's so watered down in WWF, where he just feels like kind of a parody of Ric Flair. But after the match, Lee Marshall in his glorious mullet and his tuxedo tries to interview, and he's sweating like crazy. Is trying to interview Eric Embry. He says, I feel bad for Jeff. Jeff, when you want, there's a rematch for this any old time. Kind of the end of it.
Kind of what everybody says after every match.
Right. And Eric Embry would go on to be the key figure in the merger of World Class and Continental. So it was actually shortly after this show that Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler would buy out Fritz Von Erich and merge the two companies. They had just merged when I started buying The Wrestler and PWI. I remember reading about Eric Embry at that time. And last note about Eric Embry. I always
knew but never saw.
Right. Well, and there's good reason for that because he disappeared from wrestling in the early 90s. And he was a pivotal figure in helping to break in one Steve Williams, who would later become renowned as Steve Austin. And I only remember this because Steve Austin had him on his show because he had no idea what had happened to Eric Embry. He just disappeared one day. And he just became a dad. He became just a dude.
It's just like Game of Thrones. Once it wrapped up, you never fucking heard about it ever again.
Right. It was just over.
I guess there's a new show, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares?
So anyway, we go backstage with Larry Nelson. It's in my notes. His name is Larry Nelson.
Thank you.
This time, Larry Nelson is interviewing a lady known as the Terrorist, who has an accent.
Hot as hell, by the way.
Dude, the Terrorist is fucking... Okay, we'll get into that. She's so hot.
She is so fucking hot. It's ridiculous.
The Terrorist is hot in the way that, like, the best friend of your older sister, or like maybe a babysitter that you used to have.
Oh, yeah.
The Terrorist refers to herself as, she says, I am as hot as the desert sun. She is not wrong. Her accent is as identifiable as the Baroness from G.I. Joe. I have no idea where she's supposed to be from, but she's quote unquote foreign. So the Terrorist.
She had previously wrestled in Glow as Palestina.
Oh,
so she's a Palestinian.
That's like
woman.
a He-Man character. Palestina.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's super hot.
Super freak, and she's like,
she has,
you know, like
crimped hair, and then like the dress with the turtleneck thing going on. Like she could have been in what was the videos, like the Robert Palmer videos? Like she had that. kind of dress.
with a dead girls kind of. Like,
but she was much more alive than that.
Oh yes, much more. And so was I.
So we're gonna be starting another podcast dedicated to the Terrorist.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
And that leads us into Wayne Bloom versus the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant.
Quick note. Wayne Bloom, very large man, by the way. Very large man. Green as goose shit. Okay. He's a rookie.
I wouldn't know because the match was like a minute long.
It was less than 1 minute long. It was exactly 45 seconds long. And but the referee in the first match of the night and several other matches of the night is a young fella named Mike Enos. And Mike Enos and Wayne Bloom, about 1 year from this time, would be a tag team called the Destruction Crew. And they were kind of the last good thing the AWA ever created. They also would work under masks as the Minnesota Wrecking Crew 2, and get destroyed by the Steiners on television all the time because the Steiners loved working with them because they would take all their fucking moves and beat the shit out of them back, you know, essentially. And then they would eventually show up in the WWF with big purple capes as the Beverly Brothers, managed by the genius Lanny Poffo.
Right. And later the coach, John Tolos, right? Or no?
And later the coach.
Did they get the coach? Cool. Okay.
Good one, man.
Thanks. And then I'm older than you.
A little later than that, Mike Enos would become like the Missouri Mauler or something. And little known fact, he was the one in the ring when they first showed Scott Hall in the crowd during Monday Nitro.
See, I say one thing about John Tolos, the coach, and you have to come out with like 6 other facts, little factoids. I see how it goes. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, I got you.
Yep. Then we go back. Okay. That match is stupid, and it's just the Boogie Woogie Man. It's just like Wayne Bloom bumps for the Boogie Woogie Man.
I'm sorry. The match is 24 seconons long. Wayne Bloom pushes him. Jimmy Valiant pushes him down, drops an elbow on him, and pins him.
And like does the little knee juke and jive dance.
I want to tell you guys how much I hate Jimmy Valiant, the Boogie Woogie Man. I hate his gimmick. I hate everything about
Charlie Brown
him.
From Out of Town?
Charlie Brown from Out of Town can lick my nuts. I fucking hate this man, okay? Degree, I've forgotten how much contempt I have for you.
Wow.
By talking about Jimmy Valiant. You and I are friends by comparison.
Compared to how much you dislike. He's like, what even?
He's just a stoner, dope dealing.
He's like a biker dude.
Yeah. He's got some fucking shitty, dirty fucking, he's just this unshowered
But he's a Valiant brother. So, I mean, he's like kind of a legend, but by this point, he's doing nothing. I mean,
right.
He doesn't, he beats Wayne Bloom so quick, you would think that there would be like some big celebration and everybody loves the Boogie Woogie Man. And they just cut. It's like, and
then he just starts clapping.
Yeah.
And that's all he ever does. And that's all he ever did. So the Valiant Brothers had been the WWF Tag Team Champions in the 70s. Okay, Jimmy was very clean cut at that time. They were kind of presented as these snobby, well-to-do guys. And then Jimmy just goes a million miles the other direction.
Right.
After they break up, he starts touring the territories. He starts smoking shitloads of weed, apparently. And maybe doing meth. I don't know. And he grows out.
Like he was maybe selling meth.
Yeah. And he grows out a super long beard. And he comes out just dancing to this bluesy, generic bullshit, garbage rock and roll. And he eventually becomes like a very celebrated figure in the South.
Yeah.
And then he's on this show, and it's 1988. And the guy should be probably thinking about his future. He wrestles for like another 10 years after this. He's in, Memphis and all these other places, still winning a bunch of matches for like another 10 years.
He's like
I fucking hate this
fabulous
guy.
Freebird. I have no opinion on the man one way or the other. I mean, I think the beard is cool,
hate this gimmick. I hate it.
He
should have sold out and gone like Wall Street. That would have been a great gimmick for him.
That would have been cool.
It would have been.
So then we go backstage and we're still selling the lingerie street fight. I don't know how many street fights you've been in. I have been in 0, but I can't imagine that you would wear lingerie in a street fight.
Well, and the rules for this lingerie street fight are super interesting because you can lose by either being tossed over the top rope.
Hold on, before you say the second rule, let's remember that Hulk Hogan allegedly could not have the championship because he was not a technical wrestler. What's the other way to lose the match?
To be stripped down to your boobulas and basically be stripped down to lingerie. It's implied that they're all wearing lingerie, and then after you see all of them, you're kind of like, I hope some of them just go over the top rope.
Yeah, and we'll get to it. It should have probably had a trigger warning before the show started because there were some fucking uncomfortable moments in that battle royal. Anyway,
a lot.
They're interviewing Bambi and what's the guy? Is it David Chase that ran?
Yeah, whatever his fucking
he looks like
David,
Big Boy
David
kind of.
Something.
He looks and he's like he's weird. He was creepy. The next match for the Texas Heavyweight Championship, we have Brickhouse Brown versus the Ice Train.
Yeah.
And they look like they were maybe supposed to be a tag team at one time because they have matching clothes almost.
Yep. Well, so Brickhouse Brown was from Memphis, and Iceman King Parsons was from Texas.
Wait,
I
have Ice Train in my notes, but it was Iceman King Parsons.
It was Iceman King Parsons, not Ice Train. That was a decade later.
To be fair, I was watching this while I was on a treadmill, and I was doing voice text, so I might have just fucked it up, and that's why there's Ice Train in here. I do know who Iceman King Parsons is.
Yes.
He's the guy who's like the opposite Mr. T because he shaves the middle of his head, and he has roach clips stuck in his hair.
Yes,
and he's roach clips.
He's got the hawk reverse mohawk. Yeah.
He has a tattoo of the Star of David in the middle of his chest and then 2 little penguins, I think, on either side. I'm not sure.
He's an interesting fellow.
A lot of fucking gimmicks kind of thrown together.
There's kind of a lot going on there. And so Brickhouse Brown is a favorite. He's more of like cruiserweight size. He's nowhere near as large as King Parsons. And he dances a lot. Surprise.
Iceman also dances.
Iceman had also been a member of the Freebirds at one point.
Yeah. I was going to say, he's a world-class guy, right?
He's a world-class guy. So
have you ever seen the old promotional stuff where he's like got the big blocks of ice and he's like breaking them with his head? But it's very, I don't know if it was like, maybe that's how they introduced him. I saw it on some old tape somewhere, VHS tape. And it's supposed to look like he's like breaking the blocks of ice with his head, but they're very clearly already scored. And like they just Like you're just seeing it as he like pretty much lets go of the 2 blocks of ice.
Right.
That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome. That's some good 80s shit right there.
Yep.
And this is for the WCWA Texas Heavyweight Championship, which is currently held by Iceman King Parsons. It's an okay match.
Yeah.
Iceman is just one of those, like, I'm going to punch, kick, and cheat kind of guys. And Brickhouse Brown is the babyface. He's dancing. He's pretty smooth, I got to say, as a worker. And he's got a good
look. I mean, like,
great look.
You know, like he's a muscular dude.
Yeah, and he is no longer with us, unfortunately. He passed away in 2018, cancer. And basically, he dominates the entire match, and King Parsons just pulls some brass knucks out of his tights at the end, hits Brickhouse Brown.
Looks like a piece of paper wrapped around his...
It's tape. I mean, it's tape. And I think the implication is that it's knuckles that are taped over.
Right.
But they look nothing. They look flat.
It just looks like it looks like if you took a strip of cardboard and wrapped it around your hand.
Exactly. Yeah. He also does it right in front of the ref and then puts it back in his tights. And
well, there's more of that later, but we'll get into that. The referee in this match is fucking Dracula, by the way. If you haven't watched it, he is clearly they just opened up the coffin and this guy came out to ref the match.
I want blood.
Dude, he's like no energy whatsoever.
No.
The palest skin you've ever seen, you know, just slick back hair. Yeah, that dude's gross. He was scary.
That was very, very apt description of this ref. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. No, I know. I remember exactly what he looks like now. So, yeah. And King Parsons just knocks Brickhouse Brown the fuck out and pins him. Ref sees the brass knucks happen and pretends he doesn't. And then, this is the longest match of, well, no, this isn't. The first match was the longest match. Second longest match of the night so far. It's 5 minutes and 43 seconds long.
5 minutes and 41 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we go backstage with
Great.
Brandy May and Pocahontas selling the... So it's 1988, folks.
Yeah.
And, you know, in 2025, we're saying, wouldn't it be great if we could have 2 women's matches on the card? In
Sometimes
1988, it's Pocahontas and the terrorist in a lingerie battle royal. So
yeah,
it was a different time. And the thing is, that's how shit was forever. Like, I mean, I know they weren't doing lingerie matches. Well, maybe they were. I don't know. But I mean, it's that all the way up until not that long ago, you know?
Right.
And that's all. You know, you guys watch wrestling. You know how it is. Then we have another match. Bad Company and Medusa.
Yeah.
Teaming
Medusa
up.
Miceli. Yes.
Yeah. And they call her
with Diamond Dallas Page as their manager.
With Diamond Dallas Page, who appears to be wearing like a Humpty Hump, like a fake nose, because Diamond Dallas Page has absolutely no cartilage in his nose. And I don't know when he lost that, but like there's nothing. He has no bridge to his nose. But in 1988, he looks like he still had his original nose, and it looks fake because you're just totally not used to seeing it.
Right, because he hadn't destroyed it with cocaine yet, probably.
Oh, was it? Oh, you know what? I was giving him the benefit of the doubt, and I thought maybe he broke his nose.
He was running strip clubs and shit. What do you think he's doing?
Yeah, 1988, hanging out with wrestlers and strippers.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're against former WWF Women's Champion Wendy Richter, and then 2 dudes, and I think their names were Derek Dukes and Ricky Rice.
Derek?
Maybe?
Dukes, yes, and Ricky Rice.
And who's Bad Company, Blade?
Bad Company, and we should also point out that Diamond Dallas Page is wearing the band Bad Company's t-shirt,
right,
with their logo on it, and just acting like that's kind of like the tag team shirt, I guess.
That's okay, because you could do that back then.
You could do that, yeah. And
copyrights weren't real.
Yeah, and so what Bad Company is future members of the Orient Express. Pat Tanaka. Akio Sato was his original tag team partner, and when Akio Sato left, he was replaced by a masked man named Kato,
right,
who was Paul Diamond,
right. And
Paul Diamond had a long history of replacing people because he also replaced Conan as Max Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And when you see Paul Diamond in this match, you're like, why didn't they just bring him into WWF as Paul Diamond?
In the first place.
Because he was a great wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
He's huge.
Yeah, they're not a bad tag team.
He's a decent looking guy too. Like, I mean, like you could have made something work with Paul Diamond. Kind of blows me away, really.
So this match also, when we were talking about the rock and roll RPMs and the trickle down effect of the Rock and Roll Express, everybody in this match has either leopard print or zebra print. All the dudes have bandanas tied around their wrists or their ankles. I mean, just the Rock and Roll Express look was, this is like where it's diluted to like almost nothingness.
Right.
Everybody.
Right.
If you didn't have fucking face paint, you had a bandana tied around your wrist. I don't know who Ricky Rice and Derek Dukes are.
Nor do I. Nor do I.
I thought Derek Dukes was the head of the KKK, but that was David Duke.
That's David Duke.
Yeah, so it was not him. Yep. The tag belts as well as the women's title are on the line in this match.
Right. And the tag belts, I guess, are held by Bad Company.
I think so. And those, I like those AWA tag belts too. Those are cool.
Yeah, they're cool. And then the women's title is held by Wendy Richter.
Right.
And the men can only wrestle the men. So if a woman is tagged by a man, then the woman from the other team has to take the place of the man on her team.
Like a usual.
Yeah.
That's
like, I mean, that was the rules for intergender wrestling forever. And, and, you know, inevitably, the question in these matches often is, when is a man accidentally going to hit a woman?
Right.
And that is the story of this match. Medusa Miceli doesn't get featured in a way that really displays her actual talent as a wrestler very much. So a lot of punch, kick kind of stuff. Wendy Richter, you know, looks perfectly serviceable in this match as well. You know, she had already been the WWF Women's World Champion and wrestled at WrestleMania and been screw jobbed by
I was
Moolah.
gonna say, yeah.
And this was kind of the rest of her career. She would then go on to wrestle after this in Japan for a very long time and didn't retire till like the early 2000s. So she had a very long career after this. But basically, Bad Company in an attempt to cheat over and over and over again. Eventually, Pat Tanaka tries to super kick Wendy Richter. She ducks. He super kicks Medusa.
Yeah.
And Wendy Richter pins her. Now, you would think this match going, you know, there's 6 people involved. It might go longer than the 5:41 that Iceman King Parsons and Brickhouse Brown went. And you'd be right because it went 5 minutes and 43 seconds. And because it was Wendy who was already the women's champion, no titles change hands.
But the good guys steal the belts.
Yeah, and
I think they're the good guys.
I don't think that was supposed to happen either, because for some reason they interview Medusa and Bad Company after the match. Medusa blames Tanaka and she's like, I've never needed no man to help me. You know, like, you're the reason I lost. Basically, fuck you. Pat Tanaka calls her a bimbo. DDP calls her a bimbo. But DDP keeps going, where are the belts?
Yeah.
Where are the belts? To the point where it's distracting from the story they're trying to tell. Because DDP can't stop saying, where are the belts?
It's almost as if nobody had any fucking clue what they were doing at any point during this entire event.
It's... One couldn't be blamed for making that conclusion. Yeah. And so, and I noticed there are more empty seats at this point as well. Like, it's certainly a few people have left by this point.
Yeah, there's definitely, by the time they get to the main event, people are fucking tired of, because that's the thing is, even when there is a decent match, and there are a few, the overall vibe just brings you down to the point where you're just like, what are you guys even doing? It becomes entertaining to see how many matches can end in a clusterfuck finish. And the answer is all of them.
All of them. Yes, all of them can end in some kind of dumb shit.
Speaking of clusterfucks, we then go backstage to Kerry Von Erich, and there's only one.
There's only one
Tower.
Mona Lisa.
There's only one Mona Lisa, and I think then there's that, and I'm just kind of feel bad because I know Kerry was fucked up at this point, and I probably shouldn't be making fun of him. But like, holy shit, dude, you could have practiced it once.
Okay, but here's the. It's also not the first time he says it. Okay. So he's like, there's only one.
He says it like 8 times within a 30-second period. But
well, he says it more than once during this interview. He goes, there's only one Eiffel Tower. Mm-hmm. There's only one Mona Lisa. There should be only one world champion.
Right. Which is a good basis for a promo. That's good.
And if you had said it one time, cool. Mm-hmm. I think he says it more than once in this promo alone.
Yeah. And he never fully says the whole thing all at once.
But like every time he's
remember it
in front of a microphone at any point on this show, he says it again.
Yeah.
And so he even says it after the match. So it's he's really hanging his hat on that. Mm-hmm. But every time he is shown, it's the loudest applause by far for anyone.
Big time.
They're in Chicago, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're closer to Nashville than they are to Texas, okay? Mm-hmm. They should be rooting for Jerry Lawler, and they are not.
Right.
They are rooting solidly for Kerry Von Erich.
Yeah.
And we will get to that, but it wouldn't be right if we didn't get to this. One of the matches that I was most looking forward to, and by that I mean not at all, was a match between two men claiming to be the AWA International Television Champion. This match, this had been a title that had been held up due to some kind of, imagine this, weird non-finish that occurred between these two men. Greg Gagne, the son of Vern Gagne, and maybe at one time believed himself to be the heir apparent to the AWA World Championship, was wrestling to be crowned the undefeated, the undisputed AWA International Television Champion with one Ron Garvin, who was just a year removed from being the NWA World Champion.
Correct.
Who had defeated Ric Flair for the NWA World title, the Hands of Stone, Ron Garvin, Sting without Sting's dad. Basically, right? If you go by hair styles, Ronnie with the blonde spikes, okay? Ronnie with the charisma of fucking lint in between my toes, but still more than Greg Gagne somehow.
Yeah. Greg Gagne is like your best friend's older brother that just got a promotion at fucking Radio Shack.
And he wants you to know it, okay?
There were points during the match where I was wondering if it was Andy Kaufman.
The crowd hated him so much. So much. And look, Ronnie Garvin has no ties to this area. Okay?
Right.
This probably isn't his first time in the AWA, but he's a journeyman. He's wrestled all over the place. He's originally from fucking Montreal. Okay? Like, he's just a dude. Okay? But he was on national television. He headlined Starrcade the year before.
Champion.
In a cage in
richest
Chicago.
Prize in the sport.
Yes. He headlined against Ric Flair in Chicago at a pay-per-view. In a cage. Lost the belt on a pay-per-view. On the biggest show of the year, theoretically. And the crowd boos the living shit out of Greg Gagne.
It's the most you get out of the crowd all night. Literally. Like when the finish of this match, the crowd blues. You think it's like a real show for a minute. And there's like probably only about 800 people left at that point.
And they fight ish. They fight a little bit. Ron Garvin's running around with his eyes wide open the whole time like he just did an 8-ball right at the start of the match.
He may have.
I don't know. I don't know what Ron Garvin's proclivities were.
No, I don't know. It was the 80s. It was 1988.
Greg Gagne was probably trying to steal the money out of some little kid's pocket right before this match because that's kind of what he's a bit of a grifter, and he does not look good in white tights. May we add?
No, and he doesn't look good in a wrestling ring either. Or as a wrestler, so unnatural. You can tell that Greg Gagne's viewpoint is, okay, maybe my skill set isn't there so much, so I'm just going to punch Ron Garvin for real as hard as I fucking can, as many times as I can.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
And Ron's up for that kind of thing.
And you know what? If you have the skill to back that up, you can hit as fucking hard as you want, but he just looks like a guy who's trying to make up for his lack of talent by punching.
Greg's greatest accomplishment was in the late 70s, early 80s, being a part of the tag team, the High Flyers, with Jumpin' Jim Brunzell, who at this time was post WWF pretty much. He was the Killer Bees with Brian Blair. Yeah. And that was a long time before this. You know, they had been building to, you know, a certain point where it looked like Greg was going to try and be, but the crowd didn't want it.
Right.
He's being booed in his home state of Minnesota.
Yeah.
This match is so stupid and so bad.
This is, again, let's reiterate, the title has been held up. We need to determine who is the true international television champion.
A prestigious title.
And how does the match end, Blade?
Well, Greg Gagne is running away from Ron Garvin on the outside. And as the ref counts 9, Greg rolls in the ring. And Ron Garvin gets like one arm under the rope and is counted out.
Yeah.
And
that's when the crowd blew up.
By count out, Greg Gagne indisputably is your AWA International Television Champion. I want to be clear.
By count out.
What international body of television does the AWA inhabit at this point?
Well, Vern Gagne had a satellite dish in his backyard.
I see.
And that's where it comes from.
Okay. I knew you'd know. That's why I asked.
That was, and then he gets on the mic and proceeds to say, hey man, this is the rules of the rules. He couldn't make the 10 count, so I won, and now I'm the champion. And
Garvin's just standing. I don't think Garvin knew that the finish had occurred. Like, he's standing in the ring like, fight me, let's keep going. And the crowd is booing. And then he goes, this crowd reminds me of the Chicago Bears. And, the Bears had won the Super Bowl 2 years before this, as they will still remind you. Mm-hmm. And is that the last time they won the Super Bowl?
I don't like football. I don't care. I'm from
I don't
Michigan.
Yeah. You live in Chicago now, bitch?
I do, I know, but I'm sorry. I'm still from Michigan, and I still root for the Lions, who are also a shitty team, right? I think, or maybe this year they're not.
Yeah.
I don't like sports that aren't predetermined, man.
Yeah, exactly. I am a predetermined sports guy, not an undetermined sports guy. And so Gagne says in the mic, he says, you guys remind me of the Bears. The Bears won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. I'm like, is he trying to go babyface with this low-hanging fruit? And then he goes, and the Vikings beat the crud out of the Bears this past Sunday. And then he storms off. He just goes hard heel.
Right. And it's like, I don't know. Maybe he's just like called, fuck it. The crowd hates me. I'm calling an audible.
I don't know how much this show costs to purchase, right? But what are they thinking at this point?
Right.
Like, they're going to be so happy they spent it was probably like $20.
Right.
That they spent their hard-earned $20
to be insulted by the face of the company, who is the son of the promoter, who won a title in a count out. By running away from the guy. Yeah. So next up is the match that you've all been waiting for. The most hyped match of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, the Professional Organization of Women Wrestling or something organization. It's a lingerie battle royal. They never wrestle at any point. No one does one single move. They don't even announce the women in the match.
Nope. They're all just in the ring.
And like, you ever seen that movie, The Accused? It kind of fucking felt like that at points. It was really gross and violent and like, just like 4 ladies ripping off another lady's clothes as she screams and tries to cover herself. Like no one even throws someone into the ropes. Like they don't even bounce off the ropes. It's just like, I don't know.
There's a couple people running like the match, you can tell. And
sure.
Like the Syrian terrorist is obviously one of the people running the match. Mm-hmm. And she's like telling people where to be. And she's just choking somebody till they get in the right position to get eliminated.
And Luna is in there at one point.
Luna Vachon is in there, pre mullet.
Yeah.
You know, she's just a lady wearing rock and roll clothes, kind of.
Mm-hmm. She kind of looks like a nasty boy. Like her shirt looks like one of the nasty boys.
She does.
She's like the nasty girl.
Yeah, she's like the nasty girl. So Nina, who is the actual champion of this organization of Puu, has her top torn off and then is thrown over the top rope.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty early. Pocahontas eliminated out of view of the camera. You never even see it happen. They're just like, oh, Pocahontas is gone, but you never see it. I don't know who Lori Lynn is.
No, that's the only other name I had in my notes, actually.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Wikipedia entry for this. I see them all. Malibu, no idea.
Nope. Bambi is in there at some point.
Yeah,
and
Bambi
I kind
is
of
in
know
there.
who that is.
Yeah, Bambi, she's the one wearing jeans.
Yeah.
Her and Peggy Lee Leather are both wearing jeans. And they both get eliminated. I think they're the last. So the last three, it comes down to the Syrian terrorist, Luna Vachon, and I think it's Brandy May.
Yeah.
And Brandy May somehow manages to eliminate Luna Vachon, who is assisting Peggy Lee Leather, or assisting the Syrian terrorist, I'm sorry.
Why would we keep the people with talent in the ring for any length of time?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, Ivory goes out so early that you're just like, shouldn't she have remained in there? It should
be noted, nobody's clothes have actually been removed, really. Like, not that many. But the Syrian terrorist wins.
Yes.
And it's over. It's 8 minutes long. Up to this point,
and it's
longest match of the night.
Anticlimactic.
It's horrible. It's so stupid.
It's boring. It's super boring. And I never thought that mostly naked ladies could be boring, but it is. So,
and it's offensive.
It's like gross. Like it's not even just
really
like,
gross.
Oh, it's, you see WWF stuff and it's like this gross titillating shit or whatever. And this is just like assault. It's fucking freaky. Anyway,
it's not right. And
the less
also
said about it, the better.
Yeah, the WWF. If the Attitude Era bothers you, this will bother you.
Oh, that's what I mean to say. Like the Attitude Era looks like fucking art compared to this. And I mean, we just talked about that last week. You know?
Yeah. Yes.
They go backstage. Luna Vachon cuts a promo. Totally reminds me of the Ultimate Warrior.
Yes,
but she does
she
a better
sounds
job.
Exactly like the Ultimate Warrior.
Medusa
oh my God.
walks in the frame.
Yep.
Puts a small snake on her neck and then leaves, as though you weren't going to notice that she was there. And again,
Luna,
nobody's ever practicing promos.
Really enjoys it.
Yeah.
Luna's just really scary.
Luna, I think Luna's cool as hell, dude.
She is cool as hell, but she's terrifying.
She is terrifying, yeah.
Like
Luna,
when she goes into promo voice mode, I mean, she was more warrior-esque than
the
she
warrior
would become.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was more scared of her than I am of the warrior.
Mm-hmm. Luna's
I'm like
cool.
fairly certain I could outrun the warrior, you know?
Yeah, he would get winded pretty quick.
He'd blow up pretty fast.
But yeah, Luna was cool. Luna is a sad story in wrestling. I wish that she was more respected than she is.
She deserves more respect than she got.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
Yep.
Next up, holy shit, Bill Apter. Okay, so Bill Apter's outside. Bill Apter is announcing that after 16 years, Jerry the King Lawler, he's a world champion, and he's going to be given, from Pro Wrestling Illustrated, as voted by the fans, the Most Inspirational Wrestler of the Year award.
Mm-hmm.
He never comes out to accept the award.
So,
they ask if he's there. Lee Marshall says, "Oh, is Jerry here? Is Jerry coming out?" He doesn't. So, yeah, that's super.
It was awesome because Bill Apter's like, you know, he has this big wind up for the whole thing. And he's like, and, you know, for the first time in ever, we're going to give this award to Jerry the King Lawler for overcoming his inability to be a world champion. He's a world champion now. It's so good. And then, there's just this delay.
And he never comes out.
And then Lee Marshall's like, I think he's getting ready for his match. I'm really not sure. And then Bill Apter, who has never met a camera he doesn't like, is like, you know what? I'm going to go backstage and I'll present it to him there.
Yeah.
This entire segment is like, what is going on?
And that's
like, what is going on?
That's the whole pay-per-view.
What is happening right now? I mean, you're just watching people be confused and then leave.
Yeah. And then we cut backstage to Sergeant Slaughter, who says, and I quote, "If you can't stand this kind of pain, go to the refrigerator and do whatever you need to do." What the fuck did that even mean?
Well, when you look at Sarge, he's clearly been going to the refrigerator and doing what he had to do for quite some time.
Is that what he means by that?
He's just like, don't watch the match, like get something to eat.
I don't know. Sergeant Slaughter.
Because he's going to beat some serious ass, is the
Colonel De
implication.
Beers. At this point, Sergeant Slaughter has been a member of the G.I. Joe team for about 2 years. I'm a huge G.I. Joe fan. I had
that Sarge.
Yeah, I hate Sergeant Slaughter. I hated him then. I knew of him as a wrestler, but G.I. Joe was really my introduction to him.
Me too.
I don't like the way he cuts promos.
I hate patriotic gimmicks.
I hate, and I found out later on that motherfucker lied about even being
Stolen
in the
valor.
Dude, I don't like patriotic gimmicks. I am not like a military dude. I'm not a patriot. And I'm even offended by the fact that guy fucking did that. For like years, passed himself off as a real, I always thought he was a real Marine.
So there was a book. Oh, well, he claims to be still to this day. And there is absolutely no record that he ever was. No. And there was a book written about about 5 of the guys who were really responsible for the start of the golden age of WWF.
Uh-huh.
And they have a section. He's not one of the 5 because he was gone when that really started. He was there before that. But he will not talk to the author of this book because he doesn't want to be interrogated about this.
I gotcha.
About the stolen valor thing. He just refuses.
Yeah.
He's answering emails back and forth with this guy until that's brought up, and then he stops responding. So he is absolutely a fraud in every way. He's based his entire career around being a legit former Marine, and there's absolutely no record of him ever being in the military.
Right. It's wrestling, baby.
It's wrestling, but this is gross.
Yeah.
And so he is facing, speaking of gross, he is facing Colonel De Beers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if you're familiar with Colonel De Beers' degree.
Not too familiar. Tell me.
Well, his gimmick is that he's a South African.
Oh, do tell.
And yeah, he's an apartheid guy. Is
De Beers the guy that would over time was shaving his mustache smaller and smaller until
he might have been?
Who was he managed by?
He by a variety of people over the years. In this match, he's managed by Diamond Dallas Page.
Right.
And he his name was Ed Wiskowski. He was from the Pacific Northwest Territory originally, my neck of the woods. Thanks. Very proud of that. And he refused to wrestle when he had a black referee. He refused to wrestle black wrestlers. This was all his quote unquote gimmick.
Quote unquote.
It was an alarming amount of racism for a character, even at that time.
Yeah.
This from the world that gave you Kamala. This from the world that gave you So this is who Colonel De Beers is. Okay.
Yeah. In a business, I mean, it's a lot like that lingerie street fight. In a this is what the business is known for. It's known for exploitation. It's known for misogyny. It's known for racism. And tonight, everybody said, "Hold my fucking beer."
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. We're gonna take it as far as we possibly can. And so, they have a match. Sergeant Slaughter basically just whoops his ass. It's a boot camp match, which means there's no ref in the ring and no rules. And he just puts him to sleep. But as he does, with the Cobra Clutch, the ref rings the bell. Who was
Adnan Sheik Casey?
Oh my God! Okay, this is too good, right?
Who is then joined by the Iron Sheik, which was a surprise because he doesn't even work here.
He doesn't even work here. We didn't even know he was in the building, but they would go on to have quite an understanding just a few years later. Because in 1990, when Sergeant Slaughter returns
and talking about distasteful gimmicks,
Sergeant Slaughter returns to WWF, but he's turned his back on America, and now he's singing the praises of Saddam Hussein.
Well, Saddam Hussein did give him those boots, though. Remember?
That's true. That's true.
So,
but Sheik Adnan Al-Kaisi is his manager, and he is General Adnan, and Colonel Mustafa is also joining them, and that is played by the Iron Sheik, who is from Iran, that bitterly hated Iraqis. Okay. This is just distaste to its highest. I mean, they really made distaste an art form in this match.
Yeah. And this is before he turned his back on America.
This is before he turned his back on America. And after the match, this is what Sergeant Slaughter, the gimmick is not only so distasteful because of the stolen valor, it's the laziness of it as well. Because afterwards, all he does is go, "Attend hot," and then he makes everybody say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Fucking
That's
lame.
his promo.
He's a fucking asshole. I don't like him.
Fuck you, buddy.
So speaking of assholes, we go backstage and Bill Apter is hanging out with Jerry the King Lawler, who in accepting the most inspirational, and he accepts the most inspirational wrestler of the year award by saying, "I'm not going to say that I deserve it, but I deserve it."
But I deserve it.
Smiles like a fucking asshole and leaves. Okay.
Jerry Lawler does not know how to be a babyface. He just doesn't. He's just not likable.
Next match.
Ooh.
Gets even more confusing. Michael P.S. Hayes teaming with Steve Do It To It Cox against the Samoan SWAT team, who are
Samu and Fatu.
Managed by Buddy Roberts.
Managed by Freebird Buddy Roberts.
Right. And they're the
And who the
WCW
fuck is
tag
Steve
champs.
Cox?
Steve Do It To It Cox.
Yeah, Steve Do It To It Cox. You're right. And who the fuck is that?
Why
Michael
do Steve
Hayes.
Cox's tights match the Samoan SWAT team's gear? I don't know.
Exactly. Why do Michael Hayes' gear match no one's gear? And
why are the
why is
Freebirds
Buddy
against
Roberts
each other?
Why are the Freebirds feuding? And this match ends. I mean, who cares about the match?
I don't
By
know.
The way,
the Samoan SWAT team accidentally punched each other like 4 times throughout this match. They just kept going to the well over and over. Rogers interferes. They play the replay over and over and over. And they treat it like we've never seen interference in a wrestling match before.
Right. It's one of the most disgusting things that Lee Marshall has ever seen.
Ever seen in his life. And it's just like, anyway.
And Michael Hayes gets pinned by the Samoan SWAT team. Just nice bit of trivia for those who don't know. The Samoan SWAT team is Samu and Fatu would go on to be Rikishi. And
how are these guys related to the Samoans?
To the Anawais?
To the Wild Samoans?
I think they're nephews. I think they're nephews. I don't think. I think they're Sika's kids, maybe.
Okay.
I think they're Offa's nephews. I think that's what it is.
Office nephews? Did you? Oh, you said Office. I was like, like sort of like how Lance Von Erich was like a cousin. They're Office nephews.
No, not that kind of Office. They are related. Yes.
Oh, so we get the Sheik and we get Adnan Al-Kaisi backstage. Then we go to Wahoo McDaniel versus Manny Fernandez in a strap match.
Yeah.
This is an Indian strap match, and that's why it's Wahoo McDaniel's forte. He's never lost one.
He's Native American, guys, if you didn't realize that.
Yeah. But this was a different time. And
Manny Fernandez is like a couple years out of the NWA probably, and looks like he's gained about 50 pounds of not muscle.
Wahoo doesn't look too good. Manny Fernandez has a beard here, so he looks a little different than what I'm used to seeing him as.
And
also
pudgy.
A little bit different is the IWGP champion
Tatsumi Dragon Fujinami, yeah.
Because you can, at this point, you can basically hear Vern saying, "I'm not even going to try to pronounce that." The graphic for his name just says Mr. Fujinami. And I'm like, this is fucking Tatsumi Fujinami.
I mean, look, they spelled flamboyant wrong.
True.
Flamboyant Eric Embry. I mean, do you trust them to try and spell Tatsui?
Yeah, good point. At one point in this match, Manny Fernandez is whipping Wahoo McDaniel, and Lee Marshall says, "Oh, it's just like when you take a kid out back behind the woodshed." No, Lee, it's not like that. I've never fucking hit my kid with a leather strap.
It really better not be like that, Lee.
Yeah.
Who is dead now.
Hopefully it's not.
Can't be interrogated.
We are reminded that the crippler Ray Stevens is on commentary. I have not heard his voice at any point throughout this match. The only real highlight I have here is that Manny Fernandez wrapped his feet around the ropes, and that was kind of a pretty cool tactic. Blade?
Yeah. And Wahoo wins to the surprise of no one. Wahoo's bleeding like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And that kicks off what happens after the match. So
it's the same.
Just to show you an Indian strap match, though, it's you have to drag your opponent and touch all four corners of the ring.
And again, completely devoid of anything resembling drama. And it's like, this is where you can very easily build drama, and they make it a point to go as slow and boringly as possible.
And it's just punches and kicks and people getting whipped with the ropes occasionally.
Mm-hmm. And they're not even getting whipped enough that you're like, oh, wow, that must have hurt. That's cool. He's
they're like protecting themselves so much. After the match, Wahoo says, don't get the wrong impression thinking this is over between me and Manny Fernandez. I don't want to beat him. I want to kill him.
Yeah. Next time we meet, I might have a gun in my hand.
Yeah. So he literally says he wants to kill Manny Fernandez. He wants him dead. And then he leaves, and then they cut to the back where Wally Carbo and Vern Gagne are with Larry Nelson again. And Larry goes, that was an awful lot of blood. Wahoo is bleeding back there now. It's not Wally Carbo, it's Stanley Blackburn.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's the president of the AWA,
who's this Southern dude.
Yeah.
And he's yelling at, you can tell he's mad at Vern. And Vern is so proud of what's about to happen here that he literally cannot
like a little
keep
peacock.
The smirk off his face. And Stanley Blackburn goes, you can't have him bleeding like that, Vern. You got to tell these referees not to let that happen. That should never have gone that far. And Vern is like...
And the gears are turning in Vern's head, and he's like, this is where I'm going to stick it to Vince.
Yeah. And he's like, this is story. This is cinema in Vern's mind. So the next match is the main event, which is
kind of,
interestingly, not the last match on the show.
No, it is not, because it makes as much sense as everything else on this fucking ridiculous card.
Yep. And it's Kerry Von Erich, the WCWA World Champion, versus Jerry the King Lawler, the
AWA. And you said CWA champ?
Well, I think I was wrong about that. I think Kerry Von Erich. So what had happened was that Memphis, I think, and Dallas had already merged. And they were merging the AWA title with those two titles. So Kerry Von Erich, that's why it's the WCWA. Because Lawler was the CWA, right? And WCCW was Kerry. So to the listener, I'm sure that made a lot of sense.
What's important about this match, and this is to really let you know how high the stakes are and how important this championship is that both of these men, Jerry the King Lawler and Kerry Von Erich, they've both beaten Hulk Hogan. They've both beaten Ric Flair, and both of them have beaten Randy Savage. Just about the only man that neither one of them has beaten is each other. And that's how you know how prestigious this championship is.
And Lawler comes out in his Andre the Giant leotard over his long tights to cover up his beer belly. And he's getting booed. But Kerry
comes out to a huge pop.
Yes, he comes out to a huge pop. And Kerry has a far-off look in his eyes.
He does. He has that look a lot.
He's taken his robe off.
Mm-hmm.
It appears he's forgotten to hide the blade that is in the tape on his wrist because he cuts his fucking arm at the beginning of the match.
Is that what it is?
The match. You notice there's a fucking long cut.
He's picking at it the whole time.
On his bicep. It's because he forgot he had the blade.
Right.
And he scratched his arm while he was taking his robe off, and he starts bleeding before the match starts.
But he's picking at it the whole time, too.
Yeah.
Like, he just keeps going for it, which, I mean, I guess sometimes you get a little itchy. It's pretty bad. And Jerry Lawler uses brass knucks a minimum of 8 times in front of the referee, in plain view of the referee.
Well, and you also know that Kerry's already had his very traumatic motorcycle accident by this point and has an artificial foot. And you can clearly tell which one it is now that you know to look for it.
Right.
You can see it. Kerry's not nearly as mobile or as athletic as he once was.
No, but the fact that he can even move knowing he has a fake foot, and like that's a 1988 fake foot. That's not like
that's a 1998
day.
Fake foot in a wrestling boot in
Good
a wrestling
for him
match.
that he could do that much.
Well, apparently it really hurt.
Right.
He was in tremendous pain wrestling at that point.
Yeah.
And, I'm not sure what got him hooked on painkillers or whatever, but I'm sure it accelerated the usage of them.
Absolutely.
Kerry puts his finisher on Jerry Lawler about 27 times. He no-sells a pile driver at one point.
Yeah.
And Jerry manages to dodge a tornado punch, and Kerry punches the ring post.
Yeah.
At some point, I can't remember how, Kerry starts bleeding like a motherfucker. But it's a no disqualification match.
Just gushing.
And Kerry starts bleeding profusely. It is a lot of blood. I will say that. But there is somebody at ringside from both the AWA and World Class to accompany the competitors so that they're not screwed by the outcome.
Right. Because we wouldn't want to screw anyone in this outcome with this very extremely important match. This isn't like an international TV title, Blade, where you can just have it end in a count out.
Yeah, it can't end in a count out.
This is a very important, probably the most important card, the most important match of the most important card in professional wrestling history.
According to Lee Marshall, that's absolutely correct. And so you can't have this match end in a stupid way.
Oh, no. Not like all the other matches.
Puts a stomach claw on the King. And the King's like, oh, owie, because that would hurt. But then Kerry puts it on his face, and that's the most deadly use of the claw, according to both Ray Stevens and according to Lee Marshall.
The crippler Ray Stevens.
The crippler Ray Stevens. Oh, my God. I am so sorry. I will send a flower bouquet to his family. But Jerry Lawler at no point ever submits to this move that has pinned literally everyone. And Kerry puts it on about 37 times. Over the course of this match. But what seems to be happening is as this move is held on, Kerry's been bleeding a lot. And the ref keeps checking Kerry's forehead and then looking at the guy from World Class who's accompanied Kerry and like, hey, he's bleeding a lot. And the guy from World Class keeps going, I've seen him bleed. He's fine. He's fine. Keep going. Keep going. And the ref, every time Kerry puts the claw back on, and we're talking 7-8 minutes here. He's just had the claw on. Lawler's still not out. This has pinned everybody.
He probably lost so much blood that he couldn't get the torque and the angle of
I guess. Or maybe by squeezing so hard, more blood was coming out. It was making him weaker,
Yeah.
But Lawler's just going, The ref never counts his shoulders down, which are down for like 70.
Dude.
There's so many ways.
I don't even know if the ref had ever been in professional wrestling before at this point.
And this is also Dracula reffing again. This is also Dracula
again.
Yeah. Dracula's fucking raised from the coffin once again. There's so much blood in this match. You can understand why.
That makes perfect
sense. He just licked Kerry's face clean later after the match. And so Kerry's got Jerry in the and at some point the ref just calls for the bell.
Yeah. It just
This is the main event of this show.
The most important match in history.
To crown the one true king, the one true champion.
Because there can only be one Mona Lisa. There can be one Grand Canyon.
Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
And the longest match prior to this is the Lingerie Battle Royal, which had been 8 minutes and 36 seconds. This match is 18 minutes and 53 seconds long. It feels like it's 75 minutes long.
Yes.
It's terrible in every way. And I would say 8 minutes of that is just Jerry Lawler being in the claw, not giving up, not getting pinned. Why is he in the finisher this long before a decision is rendered? And the ref just calls for the bell because he's been instructed by Vern Gagne not to allow Kerry to die.
Right.
And Lee Marshall is like, look, that was the right decision for Kerry's health.
Yeah.
Kerry's just walking around just fine. Like, no problem.
He's able to take both of the belts, and in another stunning move where the face steals the championships, he leaves with them.
Yeah. I think he throws him down on his way out or something.
Oh, does he? Well,
because Lawler has to have him.
I wouldn't blame him one bit.
And Lawler leans full on into the heat. To his credit.
Yeah. No, that's true.
The remaining 200 people are very upset, and they are really letting him know it. And Lawler just leans right into it. The man was bleeding. I was going to take his eye. Make no mistake about it. I was going to take his eye.
Yeah.
And I admired that. That was fine.
Yeah. He at least tried to salvage something from this fucking pile of shit.
Yeah. And then they show backstage Kerry talking to Stanley Blackburn.
Blackthorn or Blackburn? Well,
Blackburn. Stanley Blackburn. Yeah.
And he
the
says
president
it again,
of the AWA.
There's only one Eiffel Tower. There's only one leaning tower.
That's right.
And there should be. Come on, man. Look at this video. You see, I had him pinned 3 times. Come on, man. It's like you didn't have him pinned.
And they have Kerry watching the video and commentating over the top. He's like, I got him dead to rights. He's beat right here. There's only one Mona Lisa. There's only one Eiffel Tower. There's only one. What? And then he stops because I think he forgot what else to say. Yeah. And then Stanley Blackburn's like, well, there will be a rematch.
Just like every other match on this card, there's going to be a rematch.
They cut away. And there's still one more match.
Yeah.
Now, if you are Vern Gagne and you have organized this absolute shit show of a main event, pissing off everybody in the arena, what you might think to do is give them a good match where the baby faces win and let them go out on a high note.
And you've got the Rock and Roll Express, who are a big team.
They're not as popular as they might have been a couple years before, but they're still pretty popular.
And there's 15 different versions of them by this point, but they're still the Rock and Roll Express. I mean,
yes, and it might be mending the broken hearts of AWA fans who have lost the clones that they already had of the Rock and Roll Express, the Midnight Rockers.
Now we've got the real one.
Now we've got the real thing, right? And not as good actually, but they're facing Robert Fuller, who is a gigantic man. Very tall man, rumored to have a gigantic penis as well. And Jimmy Golden, who would later be managed by Colonel Robert Parker, played by Ron Fuller, who...
Wow.
Jimmy Golden would be known as Buckhouse Buck.
Wow.
In
Full
WCW.
Circle.
Full circle. It's a perfect circle, you might even say.
This match just seems like a bunch of the legendary Rock and Roll Express. It just seems like they're just bumbling around. No one has any concept of what they're doing. No one. They don't try to plan a match. They don't try to tell a story. The ref
doesn't give a shit.
It seems like a bunch of kids playing in the backyard.
Yeah.
And then now there have been some questionable decisions made throughout the rest of this pay-per-view. There have been a lot of instances where you wonder what they were thinking. And like you said, Blade, you figure this is the point where you're going to have to pull something out and really give the people something good to go home with, like a double count
disqualification. Yeah.
No, it's a double DQ. Yeah.
Yeah. No, because there's too much nonsense in the match. The referee, who's made no effort to restore order at any point, and lets them wrestle and just brawl for 7 minutes, and then he disqualifies both teams seemingly out of the blue and for no reason. And that isn't even the end of the show, because sending the crowd home really upset was clearly the intention here. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, because then they brought Vern out.
They brought Vern out, which makes everyone real happy.
Yeah.
And Vern tells the remaining 14 people that he's so thrilled to be in Chicago, in Illinois. And they quickly cut back to Larry Nelson, who's now with Ron Fuller and Jimmy Golden. Jimmy Golden
and this was the point where I just stood up and walked away. And I don't even know what happened
You
next.
made like the other 1,499 fans and wanted to leave.
Yeah.
And they just cut this promo. I'm like, why are they cutting a promo? And why is it heels cutting a promo?
Yeah.
Why aren't you building interest in anything beyond this?
Build interest to the next lingerie street fight, maybe.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Where's the Syrian terrorist?
Where is the Syrian terrorist? In this
She
day
was
and
the
age?
only person I wanted to see at this point.
The entire
I'm
pay-per-view.
done. I'm
Yeah.
done. She
She
was the most compelling person on the screen the entire
actually
show.
was.
She was.
Like,
She's hot.
legitimately her
Really-
and Luna.
Really hot. Yeah.
It was a really bizarre pay-per-view because it's not even like we watched Halloween Havoc 2000, which up to this point that still holds the crown as the worst pay-per-view I've ever watched.
It's the hardest pay-per-view I've ever had to get through.
Yes.
This show was easy to get through.
It
I will
was
say.
because it was absolutely so terrible that it was good. It was almost like, I don't know, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes or something. Like it was just,
Yeah.
you know,
Or the
you're
Killer
like,
Clowns
okay,
from
I'm
Outer
along for
Space.
the ride, this fucking train wreck. Like this is
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Really not a single decision that I understood. And not that I'm a, booker. Obviously I'm not the booker that Vern Gagne is.
No.
But
They
what the
felt
fuck,
so like when people say that AEW doesn't tell
Brett
stories.
Michelle's didn't even fucking show up to record with us. That's how bad this was.
Well, yeah, and
She's
and,
usually here.
Degree. There's so many bad things that I say about you just regularly, like to your face, behind your back. I've tried to get you fired from the show many times, and was told that if I continued to do that, that I would be fired.
Correct.
Which makes no sense because there's no way the show would exist if I didn't produce it.
Because
But
you're the sound man, yeah.
yeah, and I mix the show, and I post the show, and
But I don't even think,
But Brett's
I
not
dislike
here,
you.
and you are.
Yeah.
And that's the lesson, Degree.
And the real lesson here is that I say a lot of shit about you too. I don't like you either. We are at each other's throats all the time. We're at odds. I like you better than AWA Superclash III. I'll say that. You're not as much of a fucking train wreck as this pay-per-view was. And despite the number of bad decisions you've made in your life, one of which is asking me to be on this podcast.
Yeah.
I don't think you've ever made a decision as poor as the ones that Vern Gagne and company made while making this pay-per-view. The end.
Thank you so much for saying that, man. That's really touching. And you're not, I like Superclash 3 less than I like you two. And
but
and
still more
honestly,
than WCW Halloween Havoc 2000 because fucking
it's still more fun to watch. I mean, I'm not saying it's even better as a quality wise. The good news coming out of this show, though, you might have thought this could have been a whopping failure, but no. They did Superclash 4. Did it occur after this in 1990?
Is the Syrian terrorist on that one?
I'm gonna look right now.
Because if not, I'm not gonna be there.
Nope. I look. I'm pretty much Syrian terrorist or nothing at this point with these guys, but a little known indie wrestler named Tully Blanchard was there.
No, I like Tully.
Yeah, Larry Zbyszko was there.
Yeah,
he was the AWA champion.
Yeah. Wasn't he married to Vern's daughter or something?
Colonel De Beers was still there.
Oh, Colonel De Beers. Good, because that's what I was looking forward to.
And he was managed by Sheik Adnan El Casey in that show. And Sheik Adnan El Casey was just months away from becoming General Adnan.
Fantastic. So you've learned a lot about history tonight if you've listened to this podcast, whatever this is.
It's a 2.5 hour show that we've talked about for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of us.
I can guarantee you that just, you know what? Don't even watch the show. Just listen to this.
Yeah.
Don't bother Googling the terrorist. You can't find that much about her.
Yeah, and you don't want to end up on a list.
Well, that's oh, great. I wish you had told me that before I did Googled her on my work.
I Googled her yesterday. I was literally like, can I look at the terrorist more? Or
right,
I mean, I did want to know more about her because she is.
I did too.
Stunning.
She was stunning.
Yeah, and her accent was cool.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Whatever it was. Whatever it was.
So okay, well, that was Superclash 3 and the AWA.
Okay, bye!
Sickos Club.